Hello and welcome to this video on using JASP to build your first structural equation model with latent variables. My name is Geiser. I'm an instructor and statistical consultant with QuantFish. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the free point-and-click software JASP for structural equation modeling. So let's get started and let's see how we can do this. So the first thing that you have to do is open a data file. You can see I already have a data file open here in JASP. And if you don't have one open yet, you can click in the upper left-hand side corner and then go to open, and there you can browse your computer or other repositories to find a data file. JASP allows you to open data files in a variety of different formats, including SPSS data files, Excel data files, text files, and others. Once you have a data file open, you can get started with your analysis. Now, currently in JASP, structural equation modeling requires the use of LAVAAN syntax. LAVAAN is the underlying package in the R statistical software, which is syntax based. And so the LAVAAN package in R is what JASP uses when it analyzes or fits structural equation models to your data. Now we can trick JASP into giving us at least part of the syntax or generating it for us, so we don't have to write it all by hand, because this would be somewhat tedious. And so the way I like to do it is I like to generate the LAVAAN syntax for the measurement model section of my structural equation model, which can be done via the factor module in JASP. So this allows you to run a confirmatory factor analysis through point and click without having to specify the LAVAAN syntax yourself, and it outputs the LAVAAN syntax for you. And then you can use that LAVAAN syntax from the confirmatory factor analysis to at least have a measurement model specified already. And then all you need to do is add one line of syntax that specifies the structural or latent variable model of your SEM. And as we will see, it's very simple. So let's do that for us. Let's go to the factor module and then to a confirmatory factor analysis, and let's generate the syntax for our measurement model. So here I want to run a structural equation model with three latent factors or latent variables, and so therefore I'm going to define my three factors here. The first one is measured by indicators MRT1 and MRT2. So that's a factor representing mental rotation ability. Next, we're going to add a factor by clicking the green plus sign here, and that second factor is measured by ZVT A through D. That is a factor that represents numerical processing speed. And we have a third factor, which is math ability, measured by 4 indicators also. So now we already have our confirmatory factor analysis specified. And so JASP will run this confirmatory factor analysis for us, and then we can get as additional output the LAVAAN syntax. So when we click here on additional output and then click on show LAVAAN syntax, then JASP will generate that syntax for us alongside the CFA output. Now you can see the confirmatory factor analysis output on the right hand side in the results section of this window. And you can see this is the full output for a measurement model or CFA model with 3 factors. The factors are allowed to correlate, so we get a chi-square test of model fit. You can see that CFA fits very well with a non-significant chi-square p-value. We get our factor loadings here. We get factor variances. We get factor covariances and error variances for the observed variables. And then finally, at the very bottom, we get the model syntax, since we selected show LAVAAN syntax here on the left hand side. And so this syntax can now be used to build our full structural equation model in JASP. So let's go into this model syntax. Let's copy that. So I'm going to just copy that. Control C, and then I'm going to go to the SEM module where it says evaluate latent data structures with Yves Roussel's LAVAAN program. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go to structural equation modeling. And here you can see that here we have a syntax window. So here we have to specify our model in terms of LAVAAN syntax. So I can now paste my syntax, Control V, that I generated based on the confirmatory factor analysis. And so then I already have my measurement model. And so the hashtag here is a comment that says factors. We could change this and say this is the measurement model or the measurement part of the model. And then next, we're going to add some syntax here for the structural model. Now in my structural model, I want to regress the math factor. So that's factor 3 here. As you can see here, factor 3 is the one that has the math indicators. So I want to regress that factor 3 on the 2 other factors. So I want to predict math ability from the mental rotations factor and the numerical processing speed factor. And so therefore I'm going to write factor 3, and then I'm just going to use tilde. So that's the on or regression command. It's just the tilde symbol. And then I'm going to say factor 3 tilde factor 1 plus factor 2. And that's all you need. So that's all you need in order to specify the structural regression model where factor 3 is regressed on factor 1 and factor 2. Now, if you had a more complex model, let's say where you also had mediation such that, for example, let's say factor 2 is also regressed on factor 1, you could just add that here. So you could just say, okay, factor 2 tilde and then factor 1. And so now you have a mediation model because now you have an indirect effect from factor 1 to factor 3 via factor 2. So that's also possible. And then next, we're just going to hit Control Enter. So to apply the syntax, it is indicated here that you need to hit Control Enter to apply the syntax or run the syntax. So I'm going to do that now. And then you can see the output is now being generated here on the right hand side for the structural equation model. So that's all we needed. You can see again the p-value here is good, so the model is not rejected. And we have our factor loadings for the measurement models as before in the CFA. But now we also get structural regression coefficients for those regressions that we specified here in the structural model. And so those coefficients are provided here under estimate. Those are unstandardized structural or latent path coefficients under estimate. They come with standard errors, z-statistics, and p-values. You can see all of those here are statistically significant at the 0.05 level. We also get 95% confidence intervals for those path coefficients. And then next are factor variances and or residual variances, depending on whether the factor is a dependent variable or an independent variable. And we get error variances for the observed variables as we did in the CFA. Also, JASP outputs indirect effects automatically. So you can see here's the indirect effect from factor 1 via factor 2 to factor 3. And the estimate of the indirect effect, which is the product of the 2 regression coefficients that are in this chain here, is 0.054. It has a standard error, z-statistic p-value, and so you can see also the indirect effect here is statistically significant at the 0.05 level. There's also a confidence interval that is provided. And also JASP gives us the total effects in the next table. Total effects are always the sum of the direct effect plus all indirect effects. And you have a bunch of additional model options for structural equation modeling on the left hand side that you can also apply now that we have our syntax here. So we can go to model options. You could include a mean structure that may be of interest if you had a longitudinal model or a multi-group model. You can see that you can also assume that factors are uncorrelated, which here we wouldn't want to assume that. And then under estimation options, we have a whole bunch of additional choices here. We can use a different estimator. The default estimator for continuous variables is maximum likelihood, and also the default is to use full information maximum likelihood with missing data, which is nice. So all available cases, even those with partial data, will be included in the analysis. That's typically what you would want. You can change the estimator here, so there are a bunch of other estimation options. For example, MLR could be chosen if you had non-normal data to obtain robust fit statistics and robust standard errors for the parameter estimates. There are also estimation options for categorical data. So if you have ordinal indicators, you could use DWLS here, and there are other options as well. You can choose between standard, like default standard errors, or robust standard errors, or even bootstrap standard errors. So those can also be obtained. The confidence interval limits can be changed. The default is a 95% confidence interval, which corresponds to an alpha level of 0.05, and you can change that if you want, for example, a 99% confidence interval. You could change that here. Under output options, we can get additional fit statistics in the output. So when we click on that, then you can see there are a whole bunch of additional fit measures that are provided, including RMSEA and CFI, TLAI, and a lot of other fit indices that you may or may not need. Also, you can get R² for observed and latent variables. So when you click that option, then you get an R² table with the R² values for the indicators, which can be interpreted as reliabilities. And then also you get R² for the dependent latent variables. In that case, that's factor 2 and factor 3. So you can see here 4% of the variance in factor 2 is explained, 26.8% of the variance in factor 3 can be explained. In addition, there are other measures of fit or other quality measures for the measurement model, such as the average variance extracted, heterotrait monotrait ratio, reliability measures, which gives you composite reliability. I find that useful. So you get coefficient alpha, so Cronbach's alpha for each factor, and coefficient omega, which is probably here more appropriate because we allow different loadings for different indicators. So coefficient omega is for a congeneric measurement model where indicators can have different loadings. So that's probably more appropriate here than coefficient alpha. And then also we get, even though it looks funny, for factor 2.035. So that probably is not correct. Also factor 3 has a really small omega coefficient. So in this case, I would trust those alpha coefficients rather than omega. What you can also get here are implied covariances, observed covariances, residual covariances, and standardized residuals for model fit assessment. You can get standardized parameter estimates instead of the unstandardized estimates that are displayed now. So when you click on that, then the first column here in the table changes to standardized estimate. And so now you get standardized loadings, standardized latent path coefficients. Also, you get standardized variances and or residual variances for the dependent variables. You can show the model as a path diagram with the parameter estimates or with standardized parameter estimates. So when you select that option, then JASP will generate here a path diagram for you. This sometimes takes a little while. And you can get modification indices if you want those. And you can run an SEM analysis also as a multi-group model. So when you click on the multi-group SEM option, then you can select a grouping variable. So for example, here this could be female to run a multi-group analysis across males and females. And so then you also, once you choose your grouping variable, you also get a whole bunch of choices for what parameters you could constrain to be equal across groups. For example, factor loadings, intercepts, error variances, error covariances, means, threshold, and so on. So a lot of different choices here also for a multi-group analysis. So you can see that with a multi-group analysis, then JASP will also provide a path diagram for each group. So this is group 0 here, which is male, and then group female is group 1. You can see the estimates here have been imported into the diagram, in this case standardized estimates, and they can differ here between males and females. And so now you could start also and test all kinds of constraints across the different groups here under equality constraints. You could test for measurement invariance across males and females, for example, the loadings and intercepts and so on. So altogether, a very nice option to run a structural equation model with latent variables. All you need to do is write a little bit of LAVAAN syntax here. As I showed you, you can generate the syntax for the measurement model using the CFA option in JASP, and then all you need to do is add the syntax commands for your structural model, and then you're good to go. I hope you found this video helpful. My name is Christian Geiser. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.